Hi guys, Rusty here, and got my GoPro set up, microphone on it. Rained last night at work, so I ended up driving the car. Yay. I wanted to talk a little bit about stereotypes in the biker community. I notice a lot of these channels that I've been watching, not my ones I subscribe to. The ones I subscribe to tend to be a little different, but just the normal YouTube channels that a new person would go to. And I noticed a very scary trend with them. And it's like they all do the same videos. It's like they feed off of one another. Somebody will do a video, in a couple weeks the next guy will do the same video. But they do it, and it's like they're regurgitating straight out of the MSF manual. And don't get me wrong, I think the MSF is a great organization, and they teach good quality things to new riders. And but where I think they fall a little short is where that mid-range tier, where you're not really at time for a pro riding class, but you're just out of MSF class, or you've been riding for a while, maybe you've been riding for years, but you don't log a lot of miles to get a lot of seat time and experience. And I just hate the fact that you don't know who's qualified for what. And they are basically not giving you real world. I feel like they're giving you basically reading out of the teacher's manual, basically. And to me, that's not good, because if you have a question, you're in their comment section, they don't know how to answer it. They may give you bad advice. I know one in particular did a video, and there was another guy that shredded him in the video, because this guy did a counter steering video and completely had it wrong. I mean, in a bad kind of way. And it took a lot of arguing for him to see his way and take down his video or revamp his video. But he was given really bad advice, and he probably went a year or so without nobody even questioning him. And because his commenters are all fans of his, they're not questioning this. They just agree with him. It's like the sheeple, man. That ain't cool. So the one I suggest, if you're a new rider and you're watching this video, is go over to MC Rider. I can confidently say I believe that man is a true instructor, and he is very knowledgeable. I like his videos. They're not the most exciting in the world, because he's a little monotone. So am I. No big deal. But he does give a lot of good tips, and inserts everything from the MSF, and it really goes over it well. Phenomenal channel. But what I like this channel to do is talk about the things that none of the other channels talk about. Everybody talks about the MSF, and you should do this or you should do that. Well, let's take lane position, for example. MSF will teach you there's lane 1, 2, and 3. And they tell you it's really a personal choice to which lane you feel most comfortable in. Well, I agree with that. It is about most comfortable, but why do we make those choices? Nobody ever seems to do a video on why they choose to ride the way they ride. And that's where I want to be. I want to be real world. So I personally like when you're in a double lane going the same direction, I like to ride where I'm riding on the dotted line, close to the dotted line. I want the car next to me to be fully aware I'm there. I want to be in his window, his mirror, and I do not want to be in his blind spot. So I tend to ride right up there in his face. Now, that may change when I come up to intersections, for example. And I may flop over into the left side of the lane where I can see around cars, make sure nobody's making a left-hand turn around me. And there's one place by my work where if you ride on the right-hand side of the lane next to you is a turn only to get on the interstate. Well, if you're in that lane and you're on the right-hand side of that lane, cars will cut in on you to make the traffic behind you stop and let them in. And they're not supposed to do it, and people don't believe that happens, but it happens every day. So I ride through that section of the road on the left-hand side. But as soon as I cross that bridge, the other side of the interstate is coming onto the road, and they're merging into traffic. And they will do the same thing. So I tend to, as soon as I cross that bridge, I turn and go to the right-hand side of the lane to not allow cars. I block cars from entering my lane is what I'm doing. And but they'll come in halfway in your lane and then put their brakes on to make the car let them in. And it's not a very comforting feeling to have a car come in halfway in your lane with you. So I don't like that. So that's why I do the certain flip-flops I do. When I'm riding on a two-lane road and it's just opposing traffic, I ride on the left-hand side of the lane, and I ride close to the line. I want to be able to see as far as I can around these cars, and because of debris and stuff that can be kicked up off the road. I've personally had a tractor trailer toss a rock up at me and took out my headlight on my motorcycle. That was expensive, but yeah, it happens, you know, and I like to see around them, so I hug the left-hand side. Now these are all scenarios where I'm solo riding. I'm riding by myself. Now if I'm riding with a group of people, you know, obviously you're not bouncing across your lane all the time like that. But it probably, if you never knew what I was doing and rode around me, or as a car, or another motorcyclist that maybe didn't understand the logic behind what I'm doing, you'd probably think I ride in a very odd style. And maybe I do. But I do it for my reasons. I do it for my protection. And like I said, these are the things these videos don't cover. So, I know this is kind of a goofy subject, and bear with me. I'm trying to figure out my content and how I want to approach this, and give me suggestions if you want to, and tell me what you think about the video. Maybe it's stupid. It is pretty silly, but it's a topic. I thought it was something worth talking about. So if you're new here, hit that like and subscribe button, and hit the bell for notifications, and we'll see you next time.